For the record, I am not a person.
Yeah, no kidding. Because a person who truly values his freedom would take it way more seriously than you do. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. We've got an important one to cover because it shows exactly what can happen when someone takes the sovereign citizen traveler approach and decides to represent himself at the same time. And I'd be lying if I said this wasn't one of the most satisfying sovereign citizen punishment videos I've ever covered. If you want to see a grown man cry, stick around until the end. Let's begin.
Mr. Brown, do you have any questions for for Corporal?
Yes. He said the person, I am not a person, so I'm trying to figure out.
Do you have a question for for Corporal Spidell? Corporal Spidell, I'm sorry, Corporal.
That's what the officer now.
Do you have a question for the Corporal?
No, I don't have a question.
Do you have any questions for Corporal?
Not for court. I have a question for
You have a question for whom?
the court.
Okay, you don't actually get to ask the court anything unless you have a motion that you'd like to file. The court doesn't really take up any questions at this point. We're in trial. So at this point, if you would like to cross-examine the witness, you may do so now.
No, I don't have any questions for the officer.
Okay, so the witness is free to step down. Will the defendant like to call any witnesses?
Speak for myself.
You would like to take the stand as a witness?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
Yes.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
For the record, my name is Roman Brown. Living man. You said spell it.
Please spell it. Yes.
Capital R, lowercase O, M, lowercase m, lowercase n, lowercase n, capital B, lowercase r, lowercase o, lowercase w, lowercase n.
That's certainly one way to spell dumbass, but seriously, these morons are all about what's called quantum grammar. The idea that the way a name is spelled, or misspelled, somehow gives them a get-out-of-jail-free card. Spoiler alert, it doesn't.
Mr. Brown, I'm going to have you give your testimony from the podium as you are representing yourself, and you are now the witness as well as the acting on your own behalf as your own attorney. So you may proceed.
Yes. So I was traveling, like, I'm a non-citizen national, for the record. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident in the state. I live in the United States of America. But I was traveling. I didn't commit any crimes. The officer asked me for documentation. I gave him the documentations that were valid. The driver's license, he unlawfully detained me. I did not consent to any searches or seizures. He unlawfully violated my rights by going through my private property. He in the documents that he's brought up were like you just stated, they were not valid and they were canceled. So like I stated before, I was traveling. I'm not a driver. I reserve all of my rights.
Sovereign citizens should know this. In a criminal case, you don't need to reserve your rights. Every right you have is already protected by the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of your state.
Mr. Garinger, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
I reserve all of my rights under UCC 1-308. I do not consent
I'm sorry,
to
UCC,
offers.
I need to be able to hear you clearly. You reserve all of your rights under,
UCC 1-308.
okay?
I do not accept this offer. I do not consent to any proceedings. I'm not a United States citizen.
Mr. Brown, I'm gonna stop you right now. You can have a seat.
By the defendant's own admission, he canceled his own license. He did not have a valid license on May 12, 2023. He was not able to produce one, nor did he have a valid title, nor was he able to produce one. Your Honor, I believe you have a copy of the MCL code, so I won't go through reciting them all. But it is required in the state of Michigan that if you are on the roadways, that you must have a valid driver's license. It's also required that you're in your motor vehicle. You must have a valid title to that vehicle and registration. Finally, if you're given a lawful order from a police officer, you must obey those commands if they are lawful order. The fact of the matter is that the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown, did not produce those things when he was stopped on May 12th, and he refused to comply with the lawful orders given by Corporal Spidell. Therefore, the people would ask that this honorable court find the defendant guilty on all 3 counts. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Closing arguments from Mr. Brown.
This is the moment he should be explaining why the state is wrong and why he supposedly has a right to travel behind the wheel without a valid driver's license. Instead, well, he completely misses the point.
Gave me a ticket for speeding. Clearly, on video, it just showed that he said that he put me up for.
We don't have a speeding ticket on the record for today.
For a lawful order to be submitted, it had to be a crime being committed. There was no crime being committed. Like I stated before, I was traveling in my automobile, my private conveyance. I was not driving. I am not a driver or an employee like Uber or someone that's transporting goods or property. I'm not a driver. I was traveling from point A to point B. My automobile I had an issue with my automobile. It was stored. I was taking it to get it serviced. I was traveling there. I didn't commit any crime now. Well, like I stated, a lawful order for it to be a lawful order, it has to be a crime present. And I haven't committed any crimes. I did everything that he requested. I gave him all of the documents that were legit on my behalf. He went in and unlawfully violated my rights by going into my private my private property and getting any information, the documents that he did get. And I didn't present those because they weren't valid. It wasn't they were canceled. So I don't want a contract. I do not consent to any contract. I don't want a contract. I have the right to travel free. I'm a non-citizen national. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident. I do not reside in any fictitious address in the United States. I'm a national for the United States of America Republic. I have the right to travel.
I don't get why these clowns think they're above the rules. Even if they aren't U.S. citizens and are technically foreign nationals, that doesn't change the fact you still need a driver's license to drive. Take me, for example. I travel the world constantly. I'm in Prague right now, no permanent residence, not a citizen, but if I want to drive here, I need an international driver's permit. And yes, I have mine ready.
For the record, I need you to recite your oath of office to uphold the Constitution. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm getting pulled over and took out of my car. That's like kidnapping. I wasn't like, this is crazy. This is
Are you done?
This is Lacey Precinct, court precinct.
I'm sorry, can you speak that?
Lacey Precinct.
I don't know that I understood that.
This court is operating as a Lacey Precinct.
What is that?
Lacey Precinct.
Don't repeat the words. Tell me what that means.
Okay. This is a notice of Lacey Precinct. A demand for judicial notice of Rule Lacey. Within a Rule Lacey's court. Notice is hereby given on August 6th of 2024 at 8:30 a.m. or soon the matters can be held in courtroom of the above entitled court. Move the court to take judicial notice of the following. This is a demand for judicial notice of Rule Lacey within a Lacey, this court by being part of the Lacey precinct court system must follow Rule Lacey, which is a quote, a Rule Lacey which all becomes operated in final unless caused by shown against it. Since the court can require and fail performance which is only allowed in the court, which is enforced some type of contract. It is Hornwood law that all contracts are either equitable or admissible for enforcement purposes. Based upon the foregoing, this court must take judicial notice that this court is merely enforcing some type of contract that will allow Rule Lacey to apply. Therefore, the court should dismiss this matter and the prosecutor does not produce, if the prosecutor does not produce contact on proof with omission, evidence that the accused was involved in a actual being regulated with admissible evidence that invoked the authority of the court. Hearsay or presumption will not be permitted since this is a criminal trial which the accused justly demands due process secure to him by the state constitution.
I don't get why these clowns think they're above the rules. Even if they aren't U.S. citizens and are technically foreign nationals, that doesn't change the fact you still need a driver's license to drive. Take me, for example. I travel the world constantly. I'm in Prague right now, no permanent residence, not a citizen, but if I want to drive here, I need an international driver's permit. And yes, I have mine ready.
The court has heard testimony from both the corporal officer, Corporal Spadell, who made the stop on May 11th, 2023. The court has also heard testimony from the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown. As it relates, I guess I will start with, one moment. It's Roman Levon Brown. I wanted to make sure I have his full name for the record. Roman Levon Brown. The court has heard testimony that Corporal made the stop on 5/11 or May 11, 2023 in the city of Detroit in the county of Wayne. Corporal Spadell identified Mr. Roman Levon Brown as the defendant sitting in the courtroom in the blue blazer. Corporal, as well as the evidence provided by the people, showed in the video cam that the corporal made the stop based on a expiration of a plate. The color initially caught his attention, indicating that the plate had been expired, giving him probable cause to pull over the black Chevy. He later verified in the lien system that the vehicle had not been registered since 2022. Again, the stop was made 5/11 or May 11th, 2023. The corporal then gave testimony that, as well as seen in the dash cam video, that the defendant was given several instructions to turn off the ignition or to take the key out of the ignition on numerous occasions. The defendant did not comply with the request from the officer to take the key out of the ignition. At one point in the video, the corporal asked that the defendant place the key on the roof of the vehicle. The defendant did not comply with the request of the corporal. Corporal gave instructions for the defendant to step out of his vehicle. The defendant did not comply initially, did not comply with the instructions of the corporal. Corporal also has testified that the defendant, as well as seen in the video, that the defendant did not provide a valid driver's license when asked to do so. The defendant did, in fact, give some form of paper that the court does not have in evidence today. The defendant has not submitted that in evidence today as to what that paper or what those documents were. However, it was not a Michigan driver's license. Corporal then ran, or at some point in the video, was able to obtain the actual driver's license card off of the defendant's person, and later was later learned that the defendant did not have a valid driver's license in the state of Michigan because the defendant canceled his driver's license. Defendant's own admission stated that he canceled his driver's license due to not wanting to have a contract with the state of Michigan. Therefore, the court is going to find the defendant guilty on all three charges, guilty of unregistered, untitled vehicle, which the defendant did not provide a registration at the time of the stop. Lien system verified by Corporal Spadell that the vehicle had not been registered since 2022. Guilty on the count of driving while licensed improper, the Corporal Spadell confirmed, and the court has confirmed, that the driver's license of the defendant is still canceled as of today. And guilty on disregarding the officer's signal or lawful commands of an officer. The officer made lawful commands, although it was not as a result of an arrest at that point in time. The defendant had not been placed under arrest at that time. However, it was a lawful command. The defendant has argued that the commands of the officer were not lawful because he had not violated any of the laws and that he had not done anything wrong. Simply to state that you have not done anything wrong does not mean that you have not done anything wrong. Simply to state that you have not violated a law does not mean that your actions or through your actions that you have not violated the laws. In this state, you are required, although you use the word travel, you can use whatever word you'd like to use in this situation. If you are operating a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan, you must have the vehicle registered every year. You must have a valid driver's license as well as insurance in order to operate a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan. I believe that the defendant did provide valid car insurance through Cure, and I don't know that that was brought up on the record, but I did see in the video that there was a Cure insurance certificate provided at the time of the stop. However, there was no indication or no evidence provided that there was a registration or a valid driver's license provided. Again, simply stating a uniform commercial code that explains your acceptance of performance. You accept the performance, or you accept the expectations of your performance based on driving in the state of Michigan. If you decide that you are going to avail yourself of the liberties and the privileges of driving in the state of Michigan, you are expected to have a driver's license and registration in this state. If you didn't, or a valid driver's license in a state that could be verified. And that was not done. Again, the defendant is guilty on all 3 counts. And before we move to sentencing, is there anything that the people would like to state on the record?
The people would leave sentencing in this court's discretion. No objection for immediate sentencing, Your Honor.
Would the defendant like to speak on his behalf regarding sentencing?
As part of due process, every defendant found guilty has a chance to mitigate their punishment by taking responsibility for their actions, even if they personally think they did nothing wrong. What you shouldn't do is what this guy is about to do.
Yes. Like I stated before, I was not driving. I was traveling, and
Is this related to sentencing? We've already
Also-
determined that tomato, Mr. Brown, regardless of whether or not you were driving, traveling, whatever word you want to use, I've already stated on the record that to operate a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan requires a driver's license. Do you have anything you'd like to state on your behalf before I sentence you, sir? I'm sorry?
I don't recognize the authority. I have not.
That's fine. I do. I recognize this authority. So, and I am I'm probably the only person that matters right now in terms of recognizing the authority of the state and the laws that have been broken by you in this state.
I have a question. So, I didn't know there was a law. That was a law. I thought that was a statute or status,
Again, tomato, it's a statute. It's a statute.
So it's not a law.
It's a law. It's under the Michigan compliant laws, and I am not getting ready to debate this issue with you. You can take that up on appeal because you will have plenty of time to write an appeal.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Are you ready for sentencing? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a seat. So it is quite disappointing to me that not only Corporal Spadell had to spend quite some time with the defendant in this matter on a driving while licensed suspended, driving while unlicensed, driving while licensed improper, I should say, and a registration. The time and resources that it took for this incident, I can only imagine how many laws were actually being violated in the state by other people. How many people were going unprotected, or how many crimes, serious crimes, were being committed at the time that six officers to respond to a no registration or unregistered untitled vehicle and a driving while licensed improper. 6 officers. I would definitely like to remind Mr. Brown, although not right, and it's never ever right for an officer to use force. And I would like to commend the officers who were there on that date and time, because they were very patient with you, very respectful to you. No one ever lost their patience. No one ever lost their cool. But have you seen the video where the young lady lost her life? She was shot in the face by an officer for actually following the commands of an officer. Yet you are playing games with your life. And again, would like to commend the Detroit Police Department for responding with the patience and with the professionalism that they responded to in this incident. As a state legislator, I worked on legislation that would hold police officers accountable for using excessive force in this state. However, after meeting with DPOA and some of the officers in Detroit, I learned that they already have a handbook, and most of the things that were being asked of the officers across the state of Michigan were already being used and trained properly in the state, or at least in the city of Detroit Police Department, as evidenced by this entire video. Again, the patience that they had to have with you and your shenanigans on that date took a lot of professionalism. And I'm glad that they handled it in that way and not in the way that we see in videos across the country, because this could have ended totally different for you, Mr. Brown. Completely different outcome had they not had the professionalism and training that they've had to deal with shenanigans. Because that's exactly what this was today, as well as the day of your stop. Shenanigans. You are not allowed to operate, travel. You're not to be behind the wheel of a vehicle, whether you think it's driving or traveling. I don't care. You are not to operate a motor vehicle in this state without a driver's license. The court is now going to sentence Mr. Brown to 30 days in the Wayne County Jail for each incident to run concurrently. Mr. Brown, you can take it. You have a right to appeal.
Ma'am, can I say one thing, ma'am?
No,
I'm
no,
going
sir.
to jail?
No, sir. No, sir.
Why though, ma'am? Sure. 90 days?
8. No. Your punishment was 30 days for each charge to run concurrently. That means if you stayed quiet right now, you'd only be serving 30 days instead of 90. And yes, an actual lawyer would know this.
I can't do anything, ma'am, please. I did nothing. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Again,
please.
you have the right to appeal.
How do I appeal? I don't know what to do, ma'am. I have kids. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry, officer. I apologize, sir. I didn't know. I did not know. I thought I was doing the right thing, ma'am. I thought I did not know. I did not do anything. I did not know, ma'am. Please have compassion for me. I did not know. I thought that I was doing everything right. I did not know. I would never, ever did. I had.
What is it that you thought you were doing right?
I thought I was doing everything. To be honest with you, ma'am, I thought I've been reading, I've been studying on a national. I did not know that I was doing anything wrong, ma'am. I apologize. Is there anything that I did not know. I did not know. I really thought I was doing things right. I was being cool too. I thought he was violating me. I didn't know that I was doing anything wrong. Like I stated before, I was not.
Did you say that you were being influenced by others?
I definitely was influenced. I thought, like I said, I've been studying and reading up and listening to stuff, and I thought that.
I don't know what type of degree you have, or if you have one as of yet, but in order for you to know the laws in this state, in order for you to be in this state, then perhaps you should go to law school so that you can study the laws of this of the land, of this state, of this country. Because
I'm so
what you're
sorry.
doing is the interference and the disturbance that you caused on that date. I can't imagine how many people needed real assistance on that date, and you
I
interfered
just
with
thought I was doing everything
officers
right.
being available. Am I talking? Are you talking while I'm talking?
No,
And
no,
you
ma'am.
interfere with officers being available to respond to real concerns for our citizens in the city of Detroit with your shenanigans.
I apologize. I did not know. I did not know, ma'am.
I will amend your sentence to 30 days. That is,
Thank
you have 21 days to file an appeal. Have a good day, sir.
So what I got one more question, ma'am, please. So it's not, I can't pay anything or anything, or I just have to go to
No.
jail?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, ma'am. I had no.
Play silly games, you win silly prizes, sir. Have a good day.